Am I on? I'm having a hard time with this tonight, so I'm not sure if I'm here or not. I had to reload a Facebook app. For some reason, my Facebook app was like, it crashed, and so I had to reload it and start all over again. So I hope I'm on. I'm going to take a look. You know, if I'm back and forth a little bit, it's because I'm trying to see. Let's see. Coral's giving me a thumbs up, so I'm kind of hoping I'm there. Coral, do you see? Am I live now? So I had to upload a new. This has not been my best weeks, I guess. I'll start off by telling everybody the story because you're going to know it anyway, and I'm sure everybody. Oh, great! I do see. Hi, Barbara Davis. You're here. Yay! I'm here. I'll tell you the story of my mishap, if you will. If you think I look really pale, I do look pale because I have absolutely no lipstick on and not much makeup. You know, I'm into like these healthy things, and I eat lots of vegetables and lean meats and chicken and fish, and I also do power walks. So where I go out, you know, I'm sitting on my butt so many hours a day, it's pitiful. So to get healthy, what I do is I go for walks, and I go really far. I go like about, sometimes I'll do 2.5 to 3.5 miles. When I'm feeling really, really powerful, I do 5 miles, but not all the time. So anyway, a week ago Saturday, I got up and I was right near the end of finishing this third book that I'm doing for Lake Union. And I thought, should I be conscientious and go to work, or should I really take care of myself well and go for my walk? So I decided to go for my walk. I think I should have gone to work. And anyway, I'm hustling along, and I'm really making good time. I'm thinking, oh, this is great. Boy, my heart is pumping away. You know, I'm feeling real good about this. So I go for my walk. On the way back, I'm about 3/4 of a mile from our house yet. My foot catches a piece of loose cement, and down I go, whack, like that, right on my face, right here. And, you know, the thing is, I'm small, and I was going really fast, so I didn't have much of a chance to catch myself. Hi, Amy. Thanks for posting. And Linda, thank you. Hi, Linda. I'm looking forward I'm going to be on Linda's page Friday, and we're going to have a party. I'm going to do more giveaways. So I went flat right on my face. And, you know, as I'm picking myself up, and more than anything else, I'm really embarrassed that here I am laying on the sidewalk in the middle of our development, right? So as I'm picking myself up, I see blood all over the sidewalk. And I'm thinking, oh, crap. You know, so luckily I had on a sunsuit and I had a pocket full of tissues. I think I took Sugar out for a walk. And so I put the tissues up to my face and I walked the 3/4 of a mile home. I mean, I didn't really have any choice. But when I got home, my husband said, you better put some ice on that and lay down. So I did. I put ice on it and I laid down. But by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the thing was still bleeding. It just would not stop. And it was all across the top of my lip here. I mean, you know, geez, why can't I skin my knee like somebody else, you know, and you don't even see it. But no, I do my face. Hi, Diane, Paula, hi. So anyway, we went to we have an emergency hospital that's not too far from us. So we went there, and they put 11 stitches in my top lip here and 3 stitches in the underside of it because I really smashed it. So anyway, the stitches are out. My lip is still a mess, and, you know, it's very lumpy and everything. So hopefully, it's only a week and a half, so hopefully it'll heal all right, you know, and in time it'll be okay. If not, I'll just go around like this. I'll say, hi, everyone, how are you? But, you know, not much you can do about that. First of all, I want to thank everybody who came on and who posted all these wonderful questions and everything. I loved the questions and the comparisons. I thought it was really fun to see how everybody compared the, you know, identified with either Tracy or Megan. And, you know, it's funny because I identify with Megan. I mean, let me tell you, I'm so Megan, it's pitiful. I mean, you know, if I have a responsibility, I'm going to follow it through to the nth degree. And my sister Donna was Tracy all the way. So more people identified with Tracy than with Megan. And it started out to be Megan's story. So I thought that was kind of funny. But, you know, I guess a lot of us see ourselves as not as good as we want to be, but, let's see. Oh, Paul is here too. I especially want to thank some of the people. I made a list because, you think I don't read all this stuff, but I do. I want to thank Linda Nadworthy Moore. She's on there asking lots of questions and commenting on everything. And Jessie Shields Delaney. Jessie, did you know Delaney was my father's mother's maiden name? Joanne Lowe Hunter, Patricia Grogenberger, Janine Carlson, Amy Newman Connolly. I see Amy is here already. I've seen her. And Donna, I've seen you too. Hi, Donna Wilson. Forgive me if I scramble these last names because I'm trying to read them and see where I am. But Donna, I do remember your comments and I enjoyed them. So Donna's here too. Book Gypsy. Hi, Book Gypsy, Dawny. I have a good friend who's called Dawn, and that's what we always called her, Dawny. Linda Mason, Debbie Scarpari, and I'm murdering these names, forgive me. Rita, Heidi, Diane, Linda, we've got a couple of Lindas. Karen, it's so good to see you guys here. And Cora, thank you so much. You're always here. Oh, Debbie Collins, she's my favorite retweeter. Debbie is really good about retweeting everything. So some of the things I wrote down, you think I don't listen. I printed out all your questions and I'm going to answer them and direct them to you. Let's see. Jessie wanted to know, will I be bringing Dominic back? Yes. And he's going to be back in the summer, a year of extraordinary moments. And he's better than ever. You're going to love it. But this time he gets his just desserts. He really gets what he deserves. So that's a really good story. I love that. There's lots of, what should I say? I like to see when somebody gets what they deserve. And in a year of extraordinary moments, Dominic gets what he deserves and Gabriel gets what he deserves. I love Gabriel. I'll tell you, I could fall in. Well, my husband is Gabriel a little bit. I'll tell you, he's the nicest guy going. And how he got stuck with me, I don't know. But he really is. He said, when we went out on our first date, it was a second marriage for both of us. But he had pictures of his kids in his wallet, and he showed me his pictures of his kids on the first date. And I thought, wow, that's really nice. He's so proud of them and everything. And so that kind of sold me on him. Let's see. What else? Oh, let's see, who, Jessie? Maybe Debbie? Debbie asked, is there going to be a sequel? Well, A Year of Extraordinary Moments. My video is not working. I do hope it's just mine. I hope so too, Debbie. Coral, are you there? Can you hear me? I guess some people can see me, right? Because I'm seeing messages. Hi, Debbie. Thank you for commenting on all of the things. I know one of the questions you asked, Debbie, was, is there going to be a sequel? And there is. It's A Year of Extraordinary Moments. So I wrote these two books, and then I haven't gone further with the series yet, but I may. I'm thinking Lila has her own story. Everybody kind of ignores the mom sometimes. And hi, Cora. Thanks for the questions. It's so good. Oh, great. The video and audio is working. Thank you, God. I'll tell you, I'm very lucky. You know what happened? My Facebook app on my phone something went fluey with it and it wasn't working at all. So while I'm on there and I'm saying I'm having trouble getting here, I'm also on, with my other hand, deleting that Facebook app and loading a new app. So my new app seems to be working. Thank you. I'm really happy. So let's see. The sequel will be A Year of Extraordinary Moments, and I don't know. I haven't decided yet about going further. I'm thinking there probably are a couple more stories in this. I like that Megan is an animal person, and I think that there's probably a lot of good rescue stories. I love animal rescue stories. Hi, Gina. I've recognized Gina Jones. She's one of my favorite followers, too. But, in Florida here, we have a lot of horse rescue farms. And I'm thinking that might be a really good idea. I like that idea, and I would like to know more about Mom Lila. I don't think she's destined to just stay home for the rest of her life. I think she probably has a little romance in her soul, too. But before I do those, I just finished a book, and guess what? I just named it today. Sometimes I have the name of the book the minute I start it. I have it like day one. That's how it was with Spare Change. That would be wonderful if Lila got her own story. Yeah, I'm in favor of moms having a story. But, this last book, it's the third book on my contract with Lake Union. And it was supposed to be a standalone book, which it is. And I didn't have the name for it all along. It's intense. I just went to a book sign. Oh, Mary Alice Monroe. Oh, wow. Yeah, she talked about horse rescue. Cool. I wonder if she has a book about it. That would be interesting. But, I didn't have a name for it all along because in it there's a kidnapping and it's just a really intense story. It's got a great ending. I mean, the ending made my husband cry, and I think that's always a real good sign because he's not overly emotional. I'll cry at the drop of a hat, but he doesn't, and he cried at the ending when I read it to him the other day. But I came up with a name for it. I'm not 100% positive that Amazon will stay with that name because sometimes they say, that won't make it in the market or something. But I named it Emily is Gone. So look for it. But anyway, back to today's story about the Summer of New Beginnings. So yes, Dominic will be back. Well, the characters have their own books. Well, Tracy's kind of, this book started out, and unfortunately there were parts of it that were cut, which was kind of unfortunate because they were parts about Megan and her father. And to me, that was such an important element of the story because you couldn't understand how she'd be so obsessed with hanging on to the snip and save if she wasn't so attached to her dad. And, I was a real daddy's girl. My sister Donna was my mom's girl, and I was daddy's girl. So I understand what it's like to be really attached like that. And I was sorry to see some of that go, I have to say. So I didn't let it go all the way, though. We've got it in our door prize for today. Everybody who's here tonight will get a door prize, and it will be some of the cut scenes from A Summer of New Beginnings and a look inside the next book. The next book, A Year of Extraordinary Moments. So now, let me see. I'm going to answer some of the direct questions. First, Sheila asked, what was your inspiration for the book? When I started, my primary inspiration was to write a story about a girl rescuing a dog. And I believe in rescue very much. And when we got Sugar, she's not a rescue. But, the one before her was. And we just lost Katie. And, oh, my gosh, my heart was so broken. I just said, we looked and looked and looked at all the rescue sites, and I couldn't find a puppy that was young enough that didn't have health problems. So then we ended up, hi, Linda. You're Daddy's girl, too. Hi, Marcia. I'm glad to see you're here. But I couldn't find a dog that was like less than 12 years old or something, and at that age, Katie was only 10 when she died. And God, I felt like, I had one foot in the grave with her. It was just such an emotional thing. So I decided to write a story about a girl rescuing a dog. That's how it actually got started. And as I started the story, I started the relationship with Megan and her father. And then it just kind of grew. I figured she could have a sister. And then having the sister wasn't quite enough. I like books. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like books that just tell me what color the sofa is and the walls are and what flowers are in bloom and everything else. I like things that move ahead and give me some action. So I felt that there was something that was needed there, that it needed some kind of excitement. So I started with the sister, and then I said, well, this is enough. This is kind of like life. So what can I add in here? And when I first thought of adding her child in, I thought of doing it as the baby was autistic. But I do a lot of research when I write. You wouldn't think so because it seems like a fairly simple story, but there really is a lot of research in it. And I started researching autism and everything. And it seemed like such a powerful thing. Hi, Tony Callan. It seemed like such a powerful thing with not a lot of good solutions. And I think, as everyone knows, I write heartwarming books. Even when it comes to movies, books, anything. I don't want to watch anything that makes me feel worse than I felt when I started watching it. So I like a book that has a happy ending. I don't mind going through a little bit of torture if I get to a happy ending. Hi, Tony. Linda Hewitt. You can tell you have researched the hearing loss. Yeah, I did. And so I started looking for what was my alternative to autism. And I thought about the hearing thing, and then I started researching it on the internet. And I watched all these videos of kids that were hearing sound for the first time, that had the cochlear implants and they were hearing. And it just so happened my husband had a stuffy nose and he had to go to the ear, nose, and throat doctor. So I asked him when I was there. I got a lot of information from him. I went with my husband and I'm saying, by the way, well, as long as we're here, do you mind if I ask you, and I'm getting all this research information from him. Oh, you did? Amy worked with autistic kids for years. Geez, we should talk, Amy. I'm sure you have some beautiful stories to tell and some sad ones, too. So, anyway, when I watch those videos, if ever you want to see something really inspiring, go on YouTube and search kids with cochlear implants. Oh, my gosh. Some of them cry. Some of them laugh. Some of them get hysterical. I mean, they pull the things away and everything. Some of them pretend it's not there and they just keep playing with their toy. And so I thought, geez, that's so powerful. So that's why I ended up with that being a solution. So I thought it was a good way to get it to where he could live a normal life. And I like that Gabriel had the same problem, because to me, Gabriel is such a likable character. I'm telling you, if I wasn't in love with Dick, I would be in love with Gabriel. He's just really such a sweetheart. He's just the kind of person that I like. Susan Mayfield asked, what year did you start writing? I would guess it has to be about 2007 or 8 that I started writing fiction. Before that, I wrote. Oh, wow. Tony's worked with families with the little boys that had autism. Yeah, Tony loved Gabriel, too. Linda Hewitt, I work with special needs and nonverbal kids. Oh, thank you. When I wrote Spare Change, the same thing. I have a friend who's a teacher, and she taught special needs kids. And so she taught a class that was English as a second language. And they have a lot of problems, those kids, sometimes. So I used to bounce off her all my comments and behaviors for Ethan Allen in Spare Change. So she was kind of very helpful on that. Yeah, Gabriel. Hey, did you guys look at the character cards that we had on there? We had pictures of each one. Did everybody think it kind of looked like what you thought they might look like? We have more for the next book, too, and I started doing them already. So I started it, before I wrote fiction, I wrote for business for a long time. I was with an ad agency and we did PR and marketing and everything. And I used to write like 30 or 40 marketing plans a year for different bank clients and financial service clients. And then I love to read, and people used to always say to me, gee, did you ever think about maybe writing a book? And you know what my answer was? What do I have to write a book about? Who knew? But, the thing is, if you love to read and you love stories, then all of a sudden you start imagining, well, what about this? Well, what about that? And I used to go to the gym all the time when I was working. I didn't have time to, take my time exercising. So I'd get up early in the morning. I still can't believe I do that because I am not a morning person. And I'd go to the gym. Like Paula likes seeing the pictures of the characters. Did they look like what you thought they would look like? Oh, thank you so much, Linda. Should have a fun personality. I don't know about that. It depends on what day you catch me on. So I used to go to the gym in the morning, and I rode my exercise bike at the gym. I didn't have one then. Now I have one in the house. But I would be riding the exercise bike, and you got to ride it for about a half hour, 40 minutes. And they've got the news on the TV there. So you watch the news, and they give you the first round, and then they go to the second round, and same news, just keeps going over and over and over again. And after a while, it gets really boring. So while I'm there pedaling on my bike 100 miles, I'm thinking, geez, this would be a good story. So I started thinking of these different stories that I could write. And, I think it's about 3 books at least that's just in the drawer upstairs that, it's actually in a file on the computer, but that will never see the light of day because it was my learning curve. And, I wrote and wrote and wrote, and then finally in about, I think 2009 was when I first published Cracks in the Sidewalk, I think was I forget if it was Spare Change or Cracks in the Sidewalk that was first. I think it was Cracks. Oh, I know. It was actually a book called Girl Child. Oh, network connection. Thanks a lot. Let's hope I don't lose my network connection. We have Comcast, and no choice though. So I have those 3 books that I started, but that was a learning curve, and it was good that I did that, and they're so out of my genre now that I think it's kind of funny. So, and not only that, but one of the books that I wrote, I think it was the first one. I looked at it about 6 months ago or so, and I said, 140,000 words. What in the world was I thinking? That's like twice as long as one of my books are now. But I guess I didn't learn to edit out the words yet. So, let's see. Diana, would you ever think of editing those first books? I have. Oh, Linda, you should definitely read Cracks in the Sidewalk. You know what? That's based on a true story. And of all the books I've written, most of them are fiction, but of all the books I've written, Cracks in the Sidewalk is a true story, and that's the one people say, oh my God, that's unbelievable. But it isn't. It's true. Sometimes the way people behave is more horrible than you can make up in fiction. And that was the case there. Did I ever have a secret dream of being a vet? No, but I really am an animal lover, and I'm a tree hugger too. Which book is my favorite, Fran said. Oh, I don't know. That's a tough call. I think at different times, different books have been my favorite. For a long time, Spare Change was, and basically because Ethan Allen, the young boy in that story, I built him based on how I believe my mom was when she was a kid. She was from a big family of kids that lived in the mountains of West Virginia, and they were very poor. And so she was a survivor. And she was kind of like Ethan Allen. She didn't have the best of circumstances, but she made the best of what she had. And so he reminded me a lot of my mother. Hi, Rita. You're not late. You're just in time. Oh, by all means, move it up, Carol, because that's the one I was talking about before. And that's a really good story, I'll tell you. That's getting a lot of people have been reading that lately. I think it goes cyclical, that, sometimes one book is a favorite, then another one is. But my favorites probably are. Spare Change is one of my favorites because of the young boy. And, my favorites are my favorites for, probably personal reasons. And Memory House is one of my favorites. It's the only book I have ever written in present tense, number one. And I just fell in love with that protagonist, Ophelia Brown. She's like going to be 90 years old, and she has a gift of finding memories in inanimate objects. And she's looking for someone to pass it along to. So that's one of my favorites, just because it has that magical quality to it. And I love writing in present tense. I am definitely going to do that again, because you know what? It makes you so immediately in the story. Instead of saying the door squeaked open, you're saying the door squeaks open. And, then you're right there and you're waiting for what is on the other side of that door. So I love that. And I am definitely going to write more in present tense. So Diane asked, do I plan on writing another series soon? No, not immediately. I have the standalone book that will come out in probably the spring of 2019. I have the second Memory House book that will come out, not Memory House, Magnolia Grove book, that will come out in October. That's already on the books. That's done and out, and the cover's done and everything. If you haven't seen the cover, go on my Facebook page and I'll put it on. It's on the header on my Facebook page. It's really cool. Lucas is a little more grown up now in the second book, so he's doing very well. So, no, you know what I'm going to do this summer? I'm going to take a little bit of a break. And when I say a little bit of a break, I really do take a little bit. I'm probably going to take a couple of weeks and just kind of find myself again. I've been pushing so much this last year and a half. As much as I love being with Lake Union, it's a really hectic schedule. And so I think I'm going to take a break and kind of rediscover myself and find the stories that I love inside my heart. I think those are the best stories, the ones that, they just come to me and they almost scream to be written. So I think that's what I'm going to do first. Hi, Rita. Just enjoy the summer. Yes, ma'am. Definitely. I said to Dick, I'd like to do a few things. We have some very clever, cute towns around here that I'd like to just go explore, and I'd like to look into some fun history. If anyone has a town or a historical story that's true, I love to hear it, because the true stories always span my thoughts of well, what if it wasn't that way? You don't want to write about George Washington, but you might want to write about George Washington's neighbor. So that's always been a lot of fun for me. Yeah, take care of you. I need to do that. Trust me. I have been very bad this year. I really have. I have sat on my butt. I swear, probably if you turn me over, you'll find calluses on my butt. That's how long I have been sitting behind this computer. So this year, I feel it more than I ever did before. So I think I need a break. I need a rest, Let's see. Diane said, do a series or another standalone? So the standalone is next. And that's really good. I love that story. That one that Emily is gone. Do I read Christmas books? When do you read Christmas books before the holidays? Actually, you know what? I don't like to start the holidays too early. My feeling is Thanksgiving is the mark for Christmas. Once Thanksgiving comes, I always tell Dick I want to put the Christmas tree up the day after Thanksgiving. And he has the alternative of putting that huge big Christmas tree that we have up the day after Thanksgiving or going shopping. So let me tell you, he doesn't argue about putting the Christmas tree up because he'd rather do anything than go shopping. Hi, Mother Teresa. It's good to see you. Yeah, writer's butt. That's about the truth. Linda said, you have writer's butt. Yeah. You don't see a whole lot of skinny writers, and there's a real good reason for it. Yeah, Thanksgiving is like the mark. So, I don't like that Hallmark is putting those Christmas movies on in October, because I think Thanksgiving, that's when you start Christmas, and then you go straight on through New Year's. That's how I do it. Who are some of your favorite authors? Let's see. Some of my favorite contemporary authors. You know, there's different authors for different genres, and one of the things I love is discovering a new author, discovering a first published book by an author or something, because I think it's always so much fun to see the first and greatest idea that they had. And if it's a first book, chances are it's a really good book because it's very hard to get published. And so getting it out there and having it published means that a lot of people read it and they liked it. So I give that a shot. Some of my contemporaries that I love reading Christine Nolfi's books because they're just so heartwarming. I mean, that town that she has, Sweet Lake, I could live there. I mean, really. And she has a group of ladies, like middle-aged ladies in Sweet Lake, and they meet down by the lake and they get into all kinds of mischief. And I just love them. I mean, they're called the Sirens, and they really are. And, you know, that's the kind of group that everybody wants to belong to. Where do you live? We're in Florida, Marcia. Yeah, I love new authors that they appreciate. Yeah, and Rita said, yes, she is an awesome author. She is. She's very good. I love Patricia Sands's books. You know, she writes about France. And I have to tell you, her books are so convincing that you fall so much in love with France that we spent 3 weeks there because of Patricia. But she guided me through she does home exchanges. And that's how her Love in Provence series started. And so she guided me through the steps to a home exchange, and we did it. And we spent 3 weeks in Paris, and we had a wonderful time. Hi, Kim. I'm glad to see you here. So I love Patricia's books. I love Heather Birch's books. She has some wonderful... Oh, and Judy Klein. I recently read her Breakfast at the Beach House Hotel. It was really cute. I loved it. She really kept me guessing until the end. So there's a lot of contemporaries, and you know, I like to kind of explore a little bit and see what I see that surprises me, and you know, try. I don't read a lot of books in succession. Like, I don't usually pick a book in a series and then read all the books in the series. I jump around and I read a lot of different authors because I like to see what everybody else is writing. Oh, Linda got her laptop to work. But yeah, our weather is pretty bad right now too, Linda. Yeah, Diane says Patricia Sands takes her to France. And you know, it's so true. She really does. I mean, you can feel her love of France. And she really does. I mean, she speaks French. And she learned it. I mean, that's not a natural language for her. Gee, Amy, you're getting bad weather too. Yeah, we just had a storm blow through not that long ago. And I thought maybe that's what was causing my outage, that I couldn't get on Facebook. Let's see now. Okay, Cora had asked what gave you the idea to give Lucas his disability. I think the need for more intensity in the story, because, you know, I think a story is best. I know when I read a story, I want to feel that I'm rooting for somebody to do something. You know, you have to have a challenge and something that you're going to really root for people to fix or get better or solve, a problem to solve. You know, just him and her don't get along, and you know, they're going to come to an agreement over their differences. I mean, it can make a fun romance story, but I like something with a little more intensity, and I like things that have real life problems. I don't know why. Maybe I don't have enough problems in my life, but I do. I like things like that, and I especially like things where I can root for the characters. You know, I don't know about you guys, and I'd love to hear everybody's opinion on this. If I'm reading a book and I'm 50 pages in and I really don't give a crap what happens to the protagonist, then that is not a book for me. I like to at least feel something for the people, because if I don't, it's just a waste of my time. I like to relate things into a book. Yeah, that's what Linda says. Hi, Brenda Smith. It's good to see you here. So, on to the next question, and this is from Linda Zagon. Oh, Linda has an absolutely awesome blog. If you don't follow Linda for book reviews, you're making a big mistake. Search her on Facebook and find her. Linda's Book Obsession. I'm going to be there on Friday. I'm going to be doing some giveaways, so make sure you get over there. I'll have something on my Facebook page to connect to her. But she's a great reviewer. I have picked up so many great book tips from her. It's unbelievable. So definitely a reviewer you want to follow. And another one is Susie Approved Book Reviews. I met Susie Approved Book Reviews on Instagram. And I kept following her, and I kept watching her book reviews, and I said, oh, that looks good. Oh, that looks good. Oh, this I have to add to my to-be-read list. And then one day on Facebook, I saw something by her, and I messaged her, and I said, would you read my book, please? So she did. So it was really nice. So I felt very good about that. Let's see now. What do you want readers to take away? Linda asked, what do you want readers to take away after reading your book? I think I'd like them to feel better when they finish the story than they did when they started. I can think of nothing nicer than closing a book with a sigh, saying, oh, geez, that was perfect. That was perfect. The right guy got the girl. The right solution came to the problem. The bad guy got a kick in the butt. I like things that come like that. And I like things that have a well pulled together ending. I don't want to leave like a whole lot of things. Hi, Bambi. It's good to see you here. Bambi is also one of my Linda's good friend and my follower. But so I think that's, the main thing is that when you go away, I want you to feel good that you read the story. I hate to have anyone be disappointed or feel that, I think, is it natural to like some people and not like some people in a book? Yes, because that's how life is. You like some people, you don't like some people. And you know what? It would be a pretty bland story if you just liked everybody. Hi, Gina. Oh, Gina says that's exactly how she felt when she finished The Summer of New Beginnings. I hope everyone liked that book. I loved it. I love the story of sisters, and I just liked everything about it. It's not a Pulitzer Prize winning story because it doesn't have that, I don't know, touch of the fantastic, but it's a story about life and about sisters and about pets, and those are the things I like. Oh, Rita said she liked it. Oh, good. A lot of people said they loved it. Linda asked, how do you get ideas for your characters? Do you base your characters on people you know? Yes and no. I think I take a little bit of a lot of people I know for characters. They're not all one person. Like when I'm creating a guy, I will very often, if it's an older guy, I might take habits from my father-in-law or maybe an old guy that lives down the street or something. But if I'm like when I did Gabriel, I was like looking at Dick a little bit, and sometimes I will ask him, I say to him, if you were in a restaurant, you had to choose these 3 things, what would you choose? I know he thinks I ask the stupidest questions ever, and I do. And I said to him, how come you don't want to know that about me? Only I want to know that about you. He said, I'm not writing a book. Oh, Mother Teresa said she liked it. Good. In October, Linda, the next book is going to be available. I think it's October 23rd. You'll probably see lots of things about it, and I'll be, posting about it. I thought it was a little early right now. Let everybody enjoy the Summer of New Beginnings, first of all, and do some summer reading and have fun. And then in the fall, I'll be back with the new book. It's got a great cover. I love the cover. We had the cover, this is like the first thing. Almost as soon as I finished The Summer of New Beginnings, my editor at Lake Union found the picture that was just right for the cover, and she sent me about 10 pictures, and we both picked that one. So it's a really good cover. Linda Chamberlain asked, when you start a book, do you already have a name for it, or do you come up with a name as the story developed? Both. Like the Spare Change, Yeah, husbands are so useful, aren't they? I tell you, good for opening wine, all kinds of good things. Yeah, covers get me too, Linda. I'll tell you, I think covers are very important because you know what? That's what draws you to the book. Once you fall in love with an author's work, you're going to look at whatever you see by them. But you know, it's the first time. A cover will definitely draw me to a book. And I'm really not big, you know, I'll tell you, and I'm sure there are some really wonderful stories out there that are love stories, but the sight of a half-naked guy on the cover is just a turn-off for me. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just too old to appreciate half-naked guys. I don't know. Barbara Ray Johnson. Covers are influential when she browses through books not knowing the author. Yeah, that's how I feel too. I feel like if it's an author I know, I kind of have an idea what to expect. If it's not, then I have to go by the cover. And it influences me. A lot of times I use inanimate objects on the cover because I can't find a person that I feel is really typical or ideally representative of the characters. So, yeah, Linda, sometimes I have a name and sometimes I don't. When I started Spare Change, I knew, on the first page, I knew what my name of that book was going to be. As a matter of fact, I wrote that scene where she finds spare change. She says, you need to search for some spare change in your pocket. I wrote that scene based on the title of the book. So, you know, I needed a scene where it would tie in the title of the book to make it. But I just had it from day one. I just had it in my head that that's exactly what I wanted to do. And, you know, it fit with it because the book is set in the 50s when an expression like that was more popular than it is now. Now everything's on a credit card. They say, hey, lend me your credit card. No more spare change. So, and then this last book, the one that I just finished 2 days ago, that one I did not have the title until today, and it was already finished. And I didn't have the title for Passing Through Perfect until the very end of the book. And as I wrote that scene, I said, oh, this is the title. Yes, Linda said if the cover doesn't catch her eye. Diane, you said your editor doesn't change your titles. Sometimes they do. The Summer of New Beginnings was originally the Summer of Socks. And it was going to be just the dog on the cover. And then the editor said, you know, they did some research or something and said that we feel that this is a more applicable title, that it would, you know, market better. And so what I said, yes, as long as it has a dog on the cover. I was very strong about that. I really wanted the dog on the cover because if you say the Summer of New Beginnings, it kind of sounds like it's on the verge of being a romance, and there's a little bit of romance in it, but it's really a family story. It's not really a romance. Sorry to change the subject, but if there is any Michael Jackson fans, I just heard that Joe something. I didn't see the whole of that, Debbie. No, apparently it's something that, you know, let's see. Discussion. So I'll go on to the next question because I can't, I'll find it here as soon as this updates. Linda Nadworthy Moore. And Linda has been one of my followers since the very beginning, and she's actually brought a bunch of friends to the clubhouse, so it's been fun. Is everybody here a member of BFF? Because if you're not, you really need to join. That's where I hang out and talk to everybody. And see it. I didn't see what it was. Huh. Yeah, I'll see it here. Oh, I see the videos up. I don't know what happened. Whatever it was, I missed it. I'll catch it later. So Linda asked, what did you do before you became an author? Actually, she said a great author, but I feel like that's like a little hyperbole. And have I always lived in Florida? No, I lived in New Jersey. Well, actually, we lived all over the place when I was a kid. My father was an engineer, and we traveled a lot. Actually, my mother has lived in, I think, 40 of the 48 states or something. No, I lived before, when I married Dick, we lived in New Jersey. And I worked in marketing. And I did advertising, sales promotion. And then after we got married, we discovered that I had lymphoma. And it was like, we got married in January, and I discovered it in that summer. I felt great, and I felt like I looked good and everything. But I had lymphoma, and we were playing golf, and we were playing with, I think God put you where you need to be. We were playing with a friend of ours who's a radiologist, and when we came in, he said, do you mind if I take a look at Bette? I think she has something on her neck, and I just want to see what it is. So he looked, and it was like over here, and it was this tiny little thing. It was so small. I mean, it was smaller than a dime and really hardly raised at all. But it was a lymph node. And when they did testing, he said, that day he said to us, it's probably nothing, but I'd check into it if I were you. Well, when they say it's probably nothing, it's something, right? And so he sent us to an oncologist that looked into it, and they did tests, and it ended up being lymphoma. So I took chemotherapy for 6 months. And when I did that, I had, I quit my job because Dick, where he lived, was a ways from where I lived, and I wasn't, I didn't want to commute an hour and a half each way. I lived down near Princeton. And so I was home, and I think he wanted to kind of be around for me when I was going through chemo and everything. And he had left his company, and he was in the financial business, and he had a non-compete clause. So he said to me, what do you think of starting an ad agency together? Because that was my field. So I said, I don't think much of that idea. Leave me alone, I'm sick. But he talked me into it, and it ended up being a lot of fun. We had the ad agency for about 5 years, and we had a lot of customers. And then there was kind of a downturn in advertising. We didn't lose any customers, but they weren't spending very much money. They cut back, instead of doing a whole catalog, they'd reprint the catalog from the year before or something. So and Dick was itching to get back into the financial field because that's what he really liked much better. He thought advertising was kind of like a waste of time. And so one of our clients asked me to come, and he called and he said, what would it cost for us to get a marketing director like you? And so I said, it all depends on whether you mean me or another marketing director. So anyway, I got the job with them, and so we kind of closed down the agency at that point. But it was a lot of fun, so we had a good time doing it. You live in Princeton. Tony, you live in Princeton. That's such a beautiful area, isn't it? I lived right on the border of Princeton and Lawrenceville, right near the Lawrenceville Boys School. Northeast New Jersey, Hudson County. Oh yeah, Dick's dad lived in Bayonne. So Rita, he was in that area too. So when Dick and I got married, he lived in Warren. He had a big house in Warren. And so we kind of debated whether to move to my townhouse, which was really pretty small, or move to his house. And so I ended up moving there. And so I left my job. I was with an ad agency in Princeton at that point. And we went on from there. And then I worked there, and, and then I went with our client. And I guess when I left there is when we moved to Florida. They were spinning off a division, and the president of the company gave me the option of going with the division. He said he knew I wanted to go to Florida. We already had a vacation place down here, and every time I could get 4 or 5 days in a row off, we would come down here. We had a little carrier for the dog, and I had everything down here, and so all we packed was the dog. We put the dog in our carrier, and off we went. Where is my beautiful dog? Right here. Wait a minute. Say hi, Sugar. She's under the desk. That's her permanent spot. She's an under the desk dog, aren't you, Sugar? Come on, smile for the kids. Smile for everybody. She says, I'm sleeping, Mom. What are you waking me up for? I was taking a nap there, and I was very happy. Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah, here's Sugar. She's always under the desk. She's either under the desk or under the chair. So that's what I did before I became an author. I was in marketing, and we lived in New Jersey. You never notice I have long answers to a short question. Coral used to laugh at me when we started working together. She said, you don't say anything in one sentence. And it's true. I can't say hello in less than 3 pages. Melissa Henderson said, oh, I love your Facebook Live videos. Love seeing you and Sugar and hearing all about your stories. Will you be having more live videos? Yeah, I will. I love doing it. You know what? I can see your comments as I'm going along. So I look at them later on my screen. Here's my computer over here. But I can see, that's why when I go in like this, it's because I'm looking at my phone. I'm reading them on my phone. She's being camera shy. Yeah, you know what? It's a riot. The dog I had before her, Katie, that was a rescue, that little dog was priceless. I mean, it was a Bichon, too. She was such a poser. I used to do these tabletop shoots like I did when I was in advertising, and I would put all kinds of props, books, and objects, art and things, or leaves for the fall, or flowers for the summer. And I'd take enough pictures for a whole calendar, and I'd do my own calendars. And Katie posed to me. And I could sit her there. We had a big coffee table, and I used to push it like against the break front thing in the living room, in the family room. And I'd cover it with a cloth and hang a backdrop, push pin a backdrop up, and she would sit there no matter how long it took. And I did that so long ago. I used the camera that had batteries, and if my batteries went dead, I'd say stay there, and I'd run in the other room, get some more batteries and everything. And to pull Amy, you have horses. All right. But she really was a poser. This one, not so much. I keep saying to her, I'd have some really good Facebook Lives with some Facebook material if you'd sit still or pose or something. She said, I'm sleeping, leave me alone. So she's not too much of a Facebook poser. What is my favorite book I have written? That's a really tough one, Jessie. Each one is different. It's like, at the time, I think that's my favorite. Excuse me. At the time, I think, oh, this one's my favorite, and then this one's my favorite. But, I think in each book, there was something that I really loved. I don't think I have any books that I just wrote to be writing a story. In every one of them, there was some very personal connection about something that I was writing about. Whether it was the character, hi Bambi, yeah, our weather is kind of crummy here tonight. We've been having, this is the rainiest spring, summer that I can remember in ages. I mean, we've had so much rain. It seems like every other day Dick goes out and drains some water out of the pool because it's really that close to overflowing. Excuse me. So I don't know that I can say I have a real favorite. I like Memory House because it's written in present tense, and I love the intensity of that. I'd love for you guys to read that and tell me what you think, if you feel the same as I do, because that's what I might do, is write another one in present tense, because I think it just makes you feel so into the story. Yeah. Debbie said, hope everything is okay. Amy is having some bad weather right now. Oh, Diane, thank you. Diane said she hasn't read them all yet, but she's working on it. That's great. Let's see the next one. Melissa asked, what do I like most about where I live, and what do I like least? Probably hurricanes are on my least list. I don't mind the heat. it's really, we lived in New Jersey, and I have to tell you, it doesn't seem like it's that much hotter than it is in New Jersey. The sun is more intense here. Like in the middle of the summer, you want to be a little careful if you're out in the sun for a long period of time. You've got to wear sunscreen. But there's not much to dislike. I really love Florida. I have a big window in my office. I don't know if you can see it at all from here. See where those bookcases are? Well, it's right that way from the bookcases. Like I look out and I see these beautiful trees and green year round. So it's really hard not to like it, whether I'm inside or outside. And there are days when I don't get outside the house other than maybe go for a walk if I do that. Yeah, Diane agreed with me about the present tense and the magic. But I love that when we had a vacation place down here that we used to come to, and we'd get away every time we could, and we were both working full time then. And we'd come down here for 4 or 5 days, and we didn't bring anything. I mean, we had everything down here, and we'd just jump on the plane, put the dog in the carrier, and jump on the plane and go. And when we got down here, it was always blue skies and sun and palm trees. And then we'd go back to New Jersey, and inevitably, it was like the middle of winter, obviously. That's when you want to come to Florida. And there would be snow piled up on the sides of the road, and the snow would be dirty and gray by then. And the sky was gray, and the buildings were gray. And so it just felt to me so dreary. So I was a big advocate. Really, we moved to Florida because that's what I wanted to do, and Dick was willing to do it for me. Oh. You visited Melbourne. I'm assuming when you say that, Linda, you mean Melbourne, Florida. That's down the road. That's about, that's probably about an hour and a half from us. Dick's sister used to live in Melbourne. And it's too hot in Missouri. Yeah. Well, it depends on where you are. Like here we get, first of all, the thing about Florida is, yes, it's hot. It is hot in the summertime. But we get a nice sea breeze in the afternoon. It seems like it's never too hot for the guys to go play golf. They manage fine. If you go out to dinner or you're going anywhere, it's the most casual dress in the world. So you really don't have to dress up for anything. I mean, whether you're going to the movies. I take a sweater everywhere I go because the restaurants are air-conditioned, the movies air-conditioned, and I think it's just a lifestyle, so I don't really mind the heat at all. It doesn't bother me. I dislike the cold much more. I don't like cold. So, now let's see. There's one more question here. Is there going to be a sequel to The Summer of New Beginnings? That's Debbie. Debbie, yes, and it's a year of extraordinary moments. I don't have the copy of the cover here to show you, but it's hot in Colorado. Yeah, it is a different heat in Colorado. It's much drier. My mom lived in Denver for a while, and I went out there to visit her when she was out there. So let's see if there's anything else that there was a question on that I didn't answer. I think I got everything. I'd love to hear. Linda said it's hot every year. It is. This is a weird year. I'd love to hear what everybody thinks about what kind of books you'd like to read. What would you like to hear a story about next? Is there anything that, you think that, oh, gee, I'd love to read a story about? Or do you know a story that you think is really interesting? Maybe there's a story in your town. Maybe there's an old lady that lives on the hill and she's got 19 cats. But no, anything like that, message me. You never know. I'm always interested. If no other reason, I just enjoy talking to people, as you probably guessed. Sunny skies. Donna Wilson Wiersma, I hope I'm saying that right, is saying, wow, her heat index was 105 in Cape Coral. Whew, that's on the other side of Florida. But it's hot. So So if you know a good story that you think you'd like to see me write about or something, let me know. Oh, and guess what? I have a really cool surprise for everybody. You know the list in BFF that you've been adding names to for character suggestions? I'm going to have Coral make up a document and put it in the file thing where you can just click on that document and keep adding names, because I have used probably 20 of those names in this new book, this book that's going to be Emily is Gone. If they let me keep that name. But I've used probably 20 of those names, so you look for your loved one or yourself. Sometimes the loved one's name didn't work exactly right, so I just used your name. So you never know. I have a girl that used to work for me when I was at the financial services in New Jersey, company in New Jersey, before we moved down here, and she was my secretary. And when I first started writing, I never took typing in school. I did all business management stuff and everything, and art. And so when I first started writing, I started my first book longhand. I would write it out on a piece of paper, and then I'd bring it in and let her type it for me. And so she loved it, and she thought it was so much fun and everything. Well, over the years, and geez, that's a long time ago, but over the years, she's always followed me. And then I used her name in a book, and she reads all my books, I guess, and so she had on Facebook, oh my gosh, I'm famous. And I thought that was so cute. So I got such a kick out of that I continued to use, people's names and just surprise them. I have a friend who, she and her husband took I think it was a 48-day cruise, and they visited like 88 countries. And so they came back, they had all these awesome pictures and everything. So in one of the books, I think it was Jubilee's Journey, and I have Detective Mahoney, and he comes home, and he's thinking about the case and everything, and his wife says, oh, hurry up and change for dinner, because we have Lynn and Henry Ontiveros coming over to show us their vacation pictures. So that was them. But, I enjoy doing stuff like that. So if you have a little secret thing you'd like to have in a book sometimes, just let me know. Hi, Sydney. It's good to see you. So I guess that's about it for tonight. If anyone has a question that I haven't answered or anything. Oh, Deborah New, hi, how are you? I hope I've addressed most everything. It's really fun to get together with you, and I definitely will be doing it again. I think I'm going to start scheduling maybe a certain day of the week that I'm going to visit the BFF Club, and, just so everybody knows that I'll be there, and then they can stop in if they want to and ask whatever questions they want to. The only thing is, it means putting makeup on. I don't always do that. Sometimes I'm pretty bad about staying in my pajamas. So I guess that's about it for us tonight. So Sugar and I are going to say goodnight. Oh, she wanted to get down. She's not very sociable, I'll tell you. Well, she's actually fine, but she's camera shy. She says, do you realize, Mom, the scale for this is 3 doggy biscuits? Yeah, it is fun, Bambi, to put things in that people will recognize. Does anyone have a question that I haven't answered? Oh, I forgot to tell you, everybody is getting a door prize. And from all the people that are participating tonight, we're going to pick a $50 BFF gift card. And you'll get to choose, you can choose like Applebee's or Fridays or one of the gift cards that I can buy at the store and send you, so you can have a bite out to eat on me. And I'll pretend that I'm just having dinner with you. But really, you'll have to take your own date. Thank you, Gina. It was fun. And Coral just said, don't forget to pick up your door prize. The link is live, and it has a special cover, and it's an excerpt from the new book, from A Year of Extraordinary Moments. And it's the cut scene, so you get to see what I really loved. And I love some of those scenes. In the Summer of New Beginning, the mom and Megan actually went to Philadelphia to visit Lucas before Tracy came to Magnolia Grove before she came home. They went to Philadelphia. So you get a little bit of a glimpse into what Tracy's life was like there and why, some of the dissatisfaction was. But when Lake Union looked at it, what they wanted to do is they wanted to move the episode with socks closer to the front of the book. So that's why they wanted to cut, and that just, they felt that they could do away with that scene without, with still putting the pieces back together again. But I like all the little nuances, so, I hated to see it go. So I decided when they did that I was going to keep it and give it to my readers. Oh, hi, Linda. Yeah, Linda, I hope you're feeling better, Linda. I know what agony it is to have bad knees or bad hips. A friend of mine just had a total knee replacement, and she's 4 days out from surgery. And she had a video where she's on the sidewalk and she's walking with her walker. And she said, this is what determination looks like. And she was moving along there, so it happens. I've had hip replacements and they're not quite as difficult, but, it's, you get used to it. And it was the best thing. If anybody has to have something like that done, by all means have it done. Do not put it off, because you know what? It gives you a new lease on life. It really does. I mean, there's no reason nowadays to suffer along with something hurting, and, when there's a very good solution to it. Other than maybe there's no solution for this limp, but I'm hoping there is. I'm hoping that in time it will heal and not look quite so bad, but... okay, I'm looking to see. Okay. Well, I guess I'll say good night, everybody. I hope you'll have a wonderful evening, and I can't begin to tell you how truly much I appreciate you being a follower, being a fan, sharing my books. Oh, one favor. This is a really big favor, if you could do this. You know what? If you could go to BookBub and pick one of my books that you really enjoy and put in a recommendation for it, because you know what? They really share it with other readers, and it's amazing. Cracked in the Sidewalk is so popular right now, and it's because I recently ran an ad for it on BookBub, and then so many people downloaded it and read it that they started recommending it, and it's so great because so many new people find it then and read it. Good night, Cora. Good night, Gina. So, good night, all. If you could recommend a book on BookBub, that would be great. And I appreciate you being here tonight. I had a really good time. Night, everybody. I'm doing.